So I'd like to also now introduce a federal partner with us because this issue that we're dealing with here in Rhode Island is not just a Rhode Island thing. It's happening around the country about people with criminal records not being able to get employment. With no further ado, Megan from Just Leadership USA.
Good afternoon, Providence.
Good afternoon.
Let's do that one more time.
Good afternoon.
As Fred mentioned, I work for an organization called Just Leadership USA. We're based out of New York, but do work around the country. For me, this is somewhat of a homecoming because I'm a native New Englander. So being involved in this campaign has been critically important. For a little background, our organization was founded and is run by leadership that has been directly impacted by the justice system. And we have this motto coming from our founding director, Don Martin, that those closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but often furthest from the resources and power. And because of the relationships that DARE and other organizations in this room have been able to develop with power. And so thank you, Senator Matz and Representative Slater, for championing this. We have been able to develop a position where we can move really progressive legislation. So I'm here just to give you some of the facts. This is not simply about jobs. This is about economic justice at the end of the day. It's not about acquiring minimum wage jobs, it's about acquiring dreams. And that means that for people across the state of Rhode Island, occupational licensing reform should lead to meaningful work, not just gainful work. Yeah. Unfortunately, nationwide, there are 45,000 laws and statutes that bar people from everything from housing to jobs to healthcare to food stamps. Now, 70% of those impact employment. So when we're looking at where the barriers fall most heavily, it's at that level of employment. Most people in Rhode Island are celebrating the fact that there's a 3.9% unemployment rate in the state right now, but not for everyone. We don't know, because it isn't counted in Rhode Island, what the unemployment rate is for people with criminal backgrounds, but we know nationwide it's 27.3%. And that is as people with records are more likely to be involved in either working or actively looking for work than the general public. When we break that down by race, it's even more scary. And as many people know in this room, and I was happy to hear both the senator and the House rep talk about racial justice, we know that the criminal justice system in Rhode Island has disproportionately impacted Black and brown communities. And therefore, unemployment has disproportionately impacted Black and brown communities. So we need to see this not just as an economic justice issue, but as a racial justice issue as well. Right now, even with the fact that this is a Democratic state in New England, Rhode Island ranks 10th in the nation as having the most onerous licensing restrictions. So many of those are mandatory restrictions, and so many of those are mandatory restrictions in the fields that are growing in this state. So healthcare, private security, education, the licensing restrictions for that are not just onerous, they're mandatory. And that is what this legislation seeks to change. If we have 64 out of the 150 licenses in the state are in those growing industries. We're never going to get past that 27.3% number unless we begin to eradicate the barriers to employment for everyone in Rhode Island. And I'll stop there. Thank you.